evening and welcome to Premier League Live for Matchday 13 of 38 this season. We start this Friday night on the South Coast. Two sides on the South Coast facing in the South Coast as Brighton take on Southampton to get off another Premier League weekend. A jam-packed Premier League weekend to come for you this weekend, including 5 games tomorrow and 4 games on Sunday afternoon, which culminates in the biggest game of the season so far, some would say, as Liverpool take on Manchester City. But tonight we watch a side who is just 4 points and bottom of the Premier League table in Southampton, who kept Liverpool close at the weekend but fell to defeat after leading 2-1 in that game, losing to 2 Mo Salah goals late in that one for Liverpool to win 3-2. Brighton, they can go up to second tonight if they beat Southampton. There's only been one home win in the previous 12 meetings between these two sides in the Premier League, and that was the last time these two met back in May 2023. Tonight, we will see if Brighton can keep that run going, or if Southampton can cause one of the shocks and get only their second win of the season. That will be the story for tonight's game. Throughout this weekend, and of course the next Premier League match week, which is from next midweek, the Premier League will be representing the Rainbow Laces campaign, remarkably completed by Stonewall, to support all LGBTQ+ supporters, fans and members of the football community. And we at LFS wholly and wholeheartedly agree that football is for everyone and no one should be excluded. We also start our Christmas festive season on LFS tonight, so looking forward to that. But to the big story, to tonight's teams, and we'll start with the home side tonight. Bart Verbruggen starts in goal for Brighton. A back four of Tariq Lamptey, Jean-Paul Van Hecke, Igor Julio and Pervis Estupiñán in defence. Matt O'Reilly, who scored that winner against Manchester City here a few weeks ago, he starts alongside Yasin Ayari in midfield, with Jorginho Rutter and Kaoru Mitoma off the wings, João Pedro in a kind of 10-role shadow striker role behind the captain, Danny Welbeck, who leads the line for the Seagulls. For Southampton, who, as I said, have just one win this season, only 4 points from their 12 Premier League games. Joe Lumley starts in goal for them tonight after Alex McCarthy's fabulous game against Liverpool at the weekend. A back five of Yukinari Sugawara, Kyle Walker-Peters, Taylor Howard-Bellis, Jack Stevens the captain and Ryan Manning make up the Southampton defenders. A midfield 4 of Flynn Dines, Matez Fernandez, Tyler Dibbling and Adam Armstrong, with Cameron Archer, who came off the bench against Liverpool. He starts up front for the Saints. Some big players on the bench for both sides as well that can make an impact later in the game. But it will be important for both sides to get off to a quick start here this evening. Brighton hoping to end the night in second place. Southampton hoping they keep the grips with the teams above them. They're already 4 points adrift of the team in 19th and a total of 5 points adrift of the safety zone. A very good evening. Welcome to LFS for this first game of Matchday 13. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already, and it's greatly appreciated that you're joining us here this evening for a start of our festive period on LFS all the way through to the new year, and also the Rainbow Laces campaign as well, represented by our outline around all of our screens this evening, all of our graphics, the multicoloured graphic for you. Well, we'll see what these two teams have to offer us tonight. Brighton's side, a lot more expectation about this football club now. With them being in Europe just last season, they'll be hoping they can try and build upon what has been a fantastic start to Fabian Hürzeler's career at Brighton. 6 wins from their 12 games this season. Only 2 defeats have Brighton faced this campaign. Southampton, very different. 10 defeats from their 12 games, and they're the only side yet to score double-figure goals in the Premier League this campaign. Our referee this evening is Rob Jones. He will be carrying us through in the middle. A few interesting comments about the referees, of course, over the last few days, and of course, as there always is in the Premier League, there is no question about that. I can tell you that our VAR this evening is Jared Gillett as well. So Rob Jones, the referee, and Jared Gillett, the VAR. Right. Southampton will get us underway here on the South Coast as we get off and running for Matchday 13 in the Premier League. Southampton need some sort of a boost, something to lift the mood of that football club. Brighton, they're in the mood. They've won 3 of the last 5 games and hoping to make that another win over Southampton, albeit only 3 wins for both sides in the respective 12 meetings against each other. 6 draws in the 12 Premier League meetings. So certainly honours even over the years between these 2 Premier League clubs, certainly at the top level, and they'll be hoping to take something off each other tonight. Brighton, of course, in their blue and white home strip. Southampton in an interesting away kit of bright pink this evening, which makes it easy for the commentator to look at as Fernandez plays it out to Sugawara. Good start here for the Saints. Nice ball forward for Dibbling. Dibbling trying to find a way through, well blocked by Igor. And now the free kick given there against the Southampton players, on a free kick won by Karu Mitoma for Brighton. And Brighton will have fond memories of the last time they played Southampton. It was the day, that win that they got over the Saints in May 2023, secured European football for Brighton for the first time in the club's history, qualifying for the Europa League. A wonderful season last season, which saw them get some huge home ties, some fantastic performances in the Europa League. Did Brighton for their debut year in the competition. They'll be desperate to get back there, of course. When you chase European football, it is something you do not want to lose. And a football club like Brighton certainly on the up in Premier League terms. Dibbling to Walker-Peters. Now Manning. Across to Stevens. Now Howard Bellis. Right to Sugawara. Plays a nice ball down the right hand side, and the cutback is cleared away by Matt O'Reilly. And out for a Southampton throw on the right hand side. Decent start from the visitors this evening. Southampton are yet to pick up a single point on the road this season. 6 defeats from their 6 away games in the Premier League. They're the only side yet to pick up a single point in the Premier League on the road. Every other team, all 19 other teams, have at least a point away from home. Here is Cameron Archer up against Igor. Nice give and go with Sugawara, who tries to put the cross in, but bit of a bobbling effort and an easy one for Bart Verbruggen to gather for Brighton. Of course, Sugawara came on at the weekends against last weekend against Liverpool. Give away a penalty. That was ultimately the winning goal for Liverpool at St Mary's. Estupinian into Mitoma. Chip ball forward by Pedro. Here is Estupinian. First real chance for Brighton to get forward is Estupinian with the ball in. Threatening one. Closing towards Ruter, but cleared away by Southampton. Picked up by Pedro. Trying to weave his way through. Clipping at the ball. Still going João Pedro. Now the rebound. Ultimately cleared away. Welbeck. O'Reilly. Back to Danny Welbeck. No, O'Reilly with a flick. Danny Welbeck is in. Tight angle. Tries to flick it, but doesn't do anywhere near enough. Danny Welbeck, and it goes for a goal kick. Just for a moment there, Southampton just couldn't clear their lines. João Pedro gathered the ball with him. The ball bounced around the edge of the box. Danny Welbeck, like a plaster, couldn't get rid of the football. Southampton, for love nor money, couldn't get it away from danger, and O'Reilly and Welbeck almost linked up for a good chance, but the back heel there from Welbeck was misplaced as Southampton almost gave it away at the back there. Joe Lumley was quick to pounce upon that football, but they gave away the first goal against Liverpool at the weekend. Southampton playing out from the back. It's been their big criticism this season not able to consistently be smart enough, knowledgeable enough in those moments to not play out from the back when they're under intense pressure. We've seen many errors leading to goals from those types of positions this season. That's a nice ball by Harwood Bellis, and Downs plays it in behind. A threat there for Cameron Archer to chase, and he gets the corner there for Southampton. Brighton defender, I think that was Igor, was calling for a goal kick, but the assistant on that side flagged for a corner. First of the game. Early chance for Southampton to get something positive on the board here. 5.5 minutes gone. It's 5 in the box. We haven't had much luck either scoring or keeping the ball out of the back of the net from set pieces this season. Southampton 19th ranked out of 20. The corner whipped in, bouncing down, and the shots well charged down against the defender Fernandez there, as Brighton now bounce away with the ball, running in behind, nicked away. Here's Mitoma, misses the target. Goodness me, Southampton almost trying to get a goal at one end. Mateus Fernandez, the ball falls to him, he strikes it, well blocked by Igor, then charged away come Brighton. Mitoma makes the run. The defender kind of dilly-dallies on the ball, doesn't know Cairo Mitoma's lurking around the corner, nicks it away from Sugawara, and Mitoma, almost a free goal, just misplaces the ball, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Huge opportunity for Brighton there. Big let-off for Southampton. Here's Lumley. Walker-Peters. Now out to Manning. Has to come back infield to Kyle Walker-Peters. Manning got the free kick there as he was kind of pushed in the back by Ruter. Here's Downs. Now looking for a way through. Downs picks up the second ball, gives it straight back to Brighton. Now Pedro. Flag stays down for the moment as Pedro plays it down the right hand side for Ruter. Body's in the box. Ruter trying to find Pedro. Well defended by Southampton as they want to break away. That's nice play by Dibbling. Pounced upon there by, I think that was, might have been Igor. And Southampton win it back off Tyler Dibbling. Or Brighton, sorry, win it back off Tyler Dibbling. But to say, so far, the challenges are flying in. Here's Mitoma. 8 minutes gone. 0-0. Southampton have probably gone from back to front a bit better than Brighton at the moment, but it just seems like at any given moment Southampton are duly to be carved open. As Welbeck with a heavy touch allows the ball to come back to Harwood Bellis. Now Walker-Peters under pressure. Manning tries to step across but walks straight into Ruter. And here is Jorginho Ruter trying to eye up the shots. Edge of the box, Ruter! Just wide. Good opportunity. Ruter waited and waited, and you just thought, did he wait too long? He got the shot off, left-footed. Just bounced its way outside of the right post and behind for a goal kick. But again, it's simple mistake by Southampton. Manning tries to step in field to run away from the threat. He ends up running into the threat, and Ruter steals the ball away and almost gives Brighton the opener. That's again an example of errors leading to goals, and they've done it again, and it's given away by the pressure of Brighton. Pedro, Ruter couldn't find Welbeck. One back by Dibbling. Under pressure, and he will get the free kick here, Tyler Dibbling, for a foul. Yasina Yari that time with the foul. That's something Brighton have clearly identified, and I'm sure every side that has Southampton on the roster in the next coming weeks will have that top of their agenda list of preparation before those games is press intensely. You know, press really high, pin the players in, not give them a second on the ball, because they're accustomed to throwing you a goal and gifting you a chance in a game of football, or Southampton. And when they're in that type of form, the opponent will certainly try and target that frailty. And so far we've seen it a couple of times from Brighton in this game. Southampton being a bit too cute with the ball in possession, and Brighton intently pressing, as that time Igor Julio went a bit too far, and Cameron Archer wins Southampton another free kick. Stevens takes the free kick across to Walker-Peters in Brighton's half. Here's the ball out to Fernandez. Now out to Manning. Manning on the left-hand side puts a ball in the box, and that's a good cross by Ryan Manning, but no one there to try and snatch it in. See it again. It's good work coming wide. Matez Fernandez plays in Manning on the overlap. Manning just lifts it across the 6-yard box, and Archer was arriving, but just a few yards ahead of him. Just been a slight split second earlier, Cameron Archer would have had the goal, but coming ever so close. Brighton getting ever so lucky, really. Here's Igor. Pressure by Dibbling, but Igor deals with that comfortably as Van Hecke. Now to Lamptey. Has to come back to Verbruggen. Nice spin by Ayari into Van Hecke. Into the half space for Welbeck. Lovely flick by Danny Welbeck, who's brought down by Flynn Downs. And that's going to be a yellow card for the Southampton midfielder. You could see it a mile off. Welbeck with a lovely bit of skill to skip away from trouble. Skips away from Harwood Bellis' challenge, and then Flynn Downs, just a bit cynical, leaves a right boot in on Danny Welbeck, clips him as he run away, and that gets him a yellow card. Flynn Downs, his 5th of the season, which at this stage means he will miss the next game, which is a trip to Chelsea. Or a home game against Chelsea, apologies. So that will be without Flynn Downs for Southampton. And Danny Welbeck is not particularly sprung back to life here at the moment. He is receiving a bit of treatment, is the Brighton captain. So while that's ongoing, I can tell you what's coming up this weekend. On Sunday, we have 2 absolute crackers for you. On Sunday afternoon, it's Chelsea take on Aston Villa, 2 o'clock at Stamford Bridge, before one of the games of this season taking place at Anfield. 4:30, Liverpool take on 4 o'clock, Liverpool against Manchester City, 4 o'clock this Sunday afternoon. And then we've a midweek roster of Premier League action, which we love at this time of year. We love the midweek games, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll have live games every night on the Premier League from those games for you. And we will watch Leicester take on West Ham United on Tuesday night. Leicester, of course, under the charge of Ruud van Nistelrooy now. He will take charge of his first game against West Ham on Tuesday night. Then Wednesday night, we will have Arsenal against Manchester United. And build up to that game as well on Wednesday night from the Emirates. And on Thursday night, we'll watch Bournemouth take on Tottenham. Looking forward to all those games. Premier League is in full flow this festive period, and we can't wait to bring those games to you. As we're back underway now, Welbeck is back to his feet. He is okay to continue, which is good news for Brighton. Been one of their main men this season, the 34-year-old. Scored 6 Premier League goals for Southampton, or for Brighton this season. Here's Pedro into O'Reilly, who couldn't find a way through. Lots of pink shirts in that box. Southampton certainly fill out the spaces whenever they are defending. Well, that's a foul by Matez Fernandez on Ayari, so a quick free kick will be taken here by Brighton. I was saying about Danny Welbeck's importance to this Brighton team. He actually went on a run of 3 goals in 3 games in October. Hasn't scored since a 2-2 draw here with Wolves at the end of October. That is 3 Premier League games without a goal for the Brighton centre forward, but Brighton have won 2 of those 3 games, so it's not certainly hurting them at the moment, shall we say. Here's Lamptey. into Ayari. Has to come backwards to Igor. Lots of space for Igor to look for a pass. Southampton sitting very narrow, very deep. Certainly very compact, making sure there's no spaces in between the lines from those positions. Starting to press on Igor here into a tight space. Finds it out to Ruter. Nice bit of skill on the right flank from Jorginho Ruter. Now flicked across by Pedro. Ayari nips his way through. That's lovely from Ayari. Now out to Ruter in the box. Ruter again eyeing up the chance at a shot, and it's the post. Good effort by Ruter. The post denying him that time. Missed the target on the first shot, and he's getting closer as he hits the post this time. Again, steps in across on that left foot from the right-hand side. The defender, Ryan Manning, too slow to get anywhere near the challenge, and he bangs it off the left post, does Jorginho Ruter. Brighton getting close there as there's a trip here on the Southampton player in Tyler Dibbling, and a free kick, and a yellow card is going to be coming out here against one of the Brighton players. Matt O'Reilly is the player going to be booked. Yeah, it's Tyler Dibbling. Yeah, get a crunching challenge there by Matt O'Reilly. Did well to keep his balance initially, to be fair, did Tyler Dibbling, but did stumble his way to the ground, and that gets Matt O'Reilly a yellow card and a free kick for Southampton. What can we say about this youngster, Tyler Dibbling? Now, 18 years of age, absolutely lit up the game against Liverpool, albeit not able to get on the score sheet or really massively impact the game, but certainly gave the Liverpool defence a couple of questions to answer. Sugawara into the box comes Cameron Archer. Well blocked by Igor, out for the corner. See it again, it's one ball down the right flank. Sugawara takes it down nicely, steps in field, then the ball flicked in behind. Cameron Archer played in and tried to take the strike first time. Well blocked by Igor, the Brighton centre back, and a corner will come for the visitors. It's only the second corner of the game and the second for the visitors, which Manning will take again from this right hand side. Left footed delivery, whipped into the box. Howard Bellis was stretching, but Van Hecke got it away. Kept alive by Dibbling and booted clear by Welbeck. Matoma tried to break away, but Welbeck chests it down for Pedro. Now João Pedro. Well battled upon and won back by Southampton, and Downs. And Stevens couldn't play the ball in behind. As I think, yeah, Archer was offside there. Wouldn't have mattered. You have to say, both sides have looked interesting and threatening so far in this game. Southampton, I would say a bit less so. They've had more possession and more of the ball than Brighton so far up to this point, Southampton, but I'd say Brighton have maybe just edged it in terms of chances. Ruter coming close a few times. Southampton are still a threat in this game, very much so. Stevens wins it back from a poor pass by João Pedro. Again, Dibbling gets the challenge and gets the free kick off Mitoma. It's one thing Tyler Dibbling is good at, is winning free kicks. Kind of reminds me of Jack Grealish when he was at Aston Villa, and of course at Manchester City more recently, but originally at Villa, when you saw him win those huge free kicks for a team at that time that was struggling in Aston Villa when Jack Grealish was there. Tyler Dibbling seems to have that kind of aura about him, the way Jack Grealish did at Aston Villa, winning those free kicks, big moments, that big game player, that player that can carry the team forward with the quality he has. Fernandez with a free kick into the box, but Verbruggen comfortably gathers. No real threat in the end for the Brighton defence. As the ball comes out here to Estupiñán. To Igor. Now Van Hecke. Well, as I mentioned in my opener, there's been just one home win in the 12 Premier League meetings between these two sides over the years. Of course, their first meeting of those 12 came back in September 2018. There have been a few draws between the sides, as I said, 6 draws, but a few away wins for the sides. And Brighton have won, Southampton have won 3 times here at the Amex over the years. A 1-0 in March 2019 and a 2-0 win in August 2019 and a 2-1 win in December 2020. Since that point, though, they've failed to pick up more than just a point on the road against Brighton, with that singular point in a 2-2 draw in April 2022 before that defeat, the first home win in this fixture in the Premier League in May 2023, with Brighton winning 3-1, of course. Here's Lamptey into Ayari, to Igor, to Estepinian and Mitoma, back to Estepinian, back to Igor again. Seems like Brighton are maybe just taking a bit more control of this game now. Southampton have had their early spell and Brighton just seem to be settling a bit more and being a bit more comfortable with their football at the moment. As Estepinian goes for the early cross, flicked on by O'Reilly. It was lurking, it was dipping, but just not enough. The Brighton midfielder. Good chance. Estepinian spotted the early opportunity to cross the ball in, and Ruter was there as well, but O'Reilly got his head on it, edge of the box, and it was dipping. Certainly had Joe Lumley a bit worried, the Southampton goalkeeper, but didn't need to be in the end as it just sailed over the bar for a goal kick. Manning back to Walker-Peters, and now back to Lumley. Pump it long up the field. Nice run by Adam Armstrong here, but Tariq Lamptey has his number. But the ball had gone out of play before Tariq Lamptey played that ball across his defenders, and it will be a Southampton throw. Bit lax that from Tariq Lamptey, who had his man covered, but just took too long to try and pass the ball off and couldn't keep it in play. Throw into Southampton, taken quickly by Manning. Armstrong tried to play the ball into space, but tipped away as Pedro wins it back for Brighton and wins a free kick. Halfway through the first half, Brighton 0, Southampton 0 here on the South Coast. Friday night under the lights on the South Coast in late November. Perfect night for football. Perfect evening for football it is. Here's Lumley under pressure. Boots it long this time. He'd no way he was passing that out from the back from that high press, and he puts it straight out for a Brighton throw from that long kick. Brighton take the throw quickly with Estepinian. One of the big talking points this season, we speak often, and we've spoken often over the last few years about the rise of Brighton and how it's more than just managerial or kind of players in a sense, as Estepinian flicks in and Welbeck misses the target. You would expect him from that area heading the ball towards goal that it would find the net, but Danny Welbeck just a bit off target. Again, that's that cross from the early cross from the left-hand side. Estepinian in again. Beautiful whipped cross. And Welbeck just tries to take it at the front post, and it just sails past that left-hand post and wide. But good threat by Welbeck. And good cross by Estepinian. That's nice play by Walker-Peters. Fernandez plays the ball in behind. Armstrong's on the break here. Armstrong arriving into the box. Adam Armstrong looking for a way past Lamptey. And Tariq Lamptey did very, very well against the Saints number 9. But he wins a corner, does Armstrong. But you see it here. Lovely ball by Fernandez. right-footed, spun in behind for Armstrong to chase. Lamptey got back in, covered the space, made sure Armstrong couldn't get any further away, and ultimately the ball comes off Tariq Lamptey in behind for a corner. That was much more positive, much more direct from Southampton. It's been another problem for them, just too passive at times as the corner whipped in. Headed away this time by Welbeck, I think it was, in there. Back it comes again though as Walker-Peters tries to deliver, but again hooked clear. Here is Walker-Peters again. Sugawara. Walker-Peters and has to come back to Lumley, but so the Saints keep their players up the fields. Momentarily anyway, as they trail their way back into positions from that corner. Here is Fernandez, who thought he was fouled there, but the referee says play on as Walker-Peters will now win the free kick for Southampton. Brighton a bit bemused, but the referee has counted a number of occasions of a few niggly fouls and has given Southampton the free kick. There's also action across the English, across England and across Europe this evening. Sheffield United and Sunderland are facing off at Bramall Lane this evening. Either one of those two teams can finish the night top of the Championship. At the moment it's still 0-0 there, as well as elsewhere across Europe. All the games currently not any goals of note anyway to bring you. As Southampton have this free kick, they decided to want to go long with it as Manning delivers into the box, but an easy grab for Bart Verbruggen, who can now try and send his side on the counter, but Mitoma was always beaten there by Sugawara, who was well aware of the threat down that left hand side and slid it out for a Brighton throw. Certainly Bart Verbruggen tried to send his pacey winger on the move, but the Brighton fullback, or the Southampton fullback, was quick to spot that danger. Ayari to Van Hecke. Spun out to the right hand side. Space for Ruter here. Up against two. Does well to keep the ball and goes under a challenge from Kyle Walker-Peters. Goes down. Free kick to Brighton. And Walker-Peters, I think either he was play acting or he really didn't hear the referee's whistle because he tried to go on the counter there. And Rob Jones giving him a second whistle to make sure he heard, and Brighton will get the free kick. It's been a bit stop-start this game so far. Quite a number of free kicks, as you can see. 13 free kicks so far in the first 28 minutes. So, very stop-start this match. Here's O'Reilly. Now Lamptey on the right-hand side, given the time to measure up for the cross, and it's headed on and in. Kaoru Mitoma. Beautiful cross by Lamptey, given far too much time and space on the right-hand side. And Mitoma with a run and a diving header to fire the ball past Joe Lumley and give Brighton the breakthrough on the south coast. Russell Martin looks intently at the iPad on the sidelines, but Brighton with nice intricate football from the set piece, and Southampton not able to set themselves at the back post. Sugawara was aware earlier on in the game. That time he let his awareness switch off, and Kaoru Mitoma bursting into the box. Nice diving header. Lumley had no chance, and Brighton took the lead. Tariq Lamptey, we've been missing those crosses in the Premier League. That is one of quality, and that header is certainly of great quality from Kaoru Mitoma. Brighton 1, Southampton 0. And a lot of work for Russell Martin's side now to do. They find themselves behind once again. And they have, when they put themselves in that position, it's already an uphill battle. And you've kind of felt it was coming in a sense. It's not that Brighton were knocking on the door, but they were certainly taking a bit more control of the game. Southampton had become a bit blunt in the final third, and Brighton were just starting to kind of purr a bit, in a sense, getting more comfortable with their football, and it's just a lack of concentration from Southampton defensively. One lapse of concentration, and we speak about it so often. You get away with things like that in the Championship and in lower divisions, but when you're in the Premier League, you need to be switched on 95 minutes or however many minutes, 100% of the time that you're playing football, because a side can do a little trick like that on you, and you can find yourself 1-0 down in a matter of seconds from a set piece, and that's exactly what's happened, as Kyle Walker-Peters here is just going to get a yellow card for a little tug on Jorginho Rutter. I mean, it's more than a little tug, to be fair. He kind of pulls him back. He's got a full grip of his left arm there. Yeah, it's quite clearly a cynical foul by Kyle Walker-Peters, and another yellow card for a Southampton player. His third yellow card of the season. Kyle Walker-Peters, who was arguing his case with the referee and was a bit baffled as to when the yellow card was brandished by Rob Jones, but the decision is a yellow for the referee, and I don't think they're particularly wrong. The referee was particularly wrong in that. However, there's one other thing to mention. Fabian Hürzeler, the Brighton head coach, has just been booked as well, which means he will miss. They will have a touchline ban for Brighton's next game, which is a trip to Fulham in a few days' time. So Brighton will be without their head coach on the sidelines for that trip to that game in West London, and Southampton will be without Flynn Dines for their game against Chelsea. A couple of big yellow card cautions this evening from Rob Jones. It's at this time of the season you start to see things like that. We're coming to that point of the kind of the cliff edge of yellow cards and one-match bans and touchline bans. Of course, halfway through the season that does come to an end. It rises to 10 yellow cards, but 5 until that point, which will be in the new year. Here's Mitoma. Couldn't find Welbeck. Well closed out in that midfield by Southampton. There's a few players went to ground there in pink, and the Saints will get the free kick. Flynn Dines and I think it might have been Fernandez was the other that went down under challenges. A free kick for Southampton given by the referee, and I think they're making the claim that O'Reilly's already on a yellow card and has committed one or two of those cynical fouls. Maybe asking the referee a few questions on that. Well, you won't be surprised to know that when Southampton have conceded first, they've picked up not a single point this season in the Premier League. They've conceded the first goal 8 times this season, and they have lost all 8 games in this campaign, so certainly not a good omen for them tonight. That's another huge problem. I mean, we're in game 13, and Southampton have been behind. They've conceded the first goal in 8 of those 13 games. I mean, that's really poor, even for like relegation and newly promoted side standards. That is really bad. You know, we talk about building foundations when you're promoted to the Premier League. It's all about making your defence so solid and so hard to beat, first and foremost, and then you work forward. You work on scoring goals, you work on winning games, you work on your attacking play. Southampton have, I mean, honestly, it is melting chocolate defending, really, essentially. They have the foundation of melting chocolate. You know, they crumble into pieces, they fall away instantly, and then they don't give themselves that foundation to build upon, to try and attack the football, to try and score goals, to try and take it to an opponent. Because they're always on the back foot, they're always trying to claw back something out of a game. And that can be exhausting for a football team. And a set of players is Flynn Dines on a yellow card himself. I think he committed another challenge there, and the crowd, for a moment, were shouting off, 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 but I think the referee has a bit of sense, a bit more sense than that. A bit clumsy all round, to be honest. Rutter and Van Hecke, and then, yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on here, all this drama. Rutter, maybe in a bit of pain there. He is, yeah. Well, he went into that challenge with Dibbling. Kind of fell on his left shoulder, Jorginho Ruter, and in a bit of pain there as he went to ground, so he's going to receive a bit of treatment. 10 minutes to go with the first half. Brighton 1, Southampton 0. Kaoru Mitoma with the goal. Diving header from a Tariq Lamptey cross from the right hand side, but Sugawara, I said it from a corner a few moments before the goal was scored, and I said Sugawara's awareness was very well worked there, because Mitoma was almost away a few moments before the goal, and I said Sugawara's awareness was quite good in spotting that and spotting the danger. But this time, for the goal, he just isn't aware, isn't concentrated, isn't switched on in that moment. And against Kaoru Mitoma, one of a very good set of Premier League wingers that can threaten you and hurt you with that bursting pace, a blistering pace from nowhere in a matter of seconds. When you aren't switched on, you will be punished, and that's exactly what happened to Southampton and Yukinari Sugawara. Mitoma. Welbeck. Picked up by O'Reilly. Just ball escapes his grasp, but now Southampton want a break. Go very direct here into Cameron Archer, who's made the run. He's got Armstrong across. Tries to find him. Well blocked off by Igor. And puts it out for a Brighton or a Southampton corner. See it again. Brighton get a bit loose. Ball played nicely by Stevens into the path of Fernandez. Plays a lovely ball into Cameron Archer's path, and I think Archer just makes the wrong decision there again. I think he should step across Igor and try and shoot himself, but he tries to square it across for Armstrong. Blocked by Igor, and he gets the corner out of it, but could have had a bit more. No shortage of corners in this game for the Saints. They've had all 4 corners that have been in the match so far. Manning for this one on the right hand side again. Left-footed delivery. Deep to the back post for Bruggen. Goodness me. Couldn't catch it. Almost bundled it into a few opponents there, but Van Hecke gets a bit loose himself, but Flynn Dines plays it straight back to Bart Verbruggen in the Brighton goal. Another letdown for Southampton on that occasion. Stupinian losing the ball. Sugawara. Here's Archer. Felt he was fouled there, but the referee saw no issue as Estepinian walks away with the ball. Welbeck, now Pedro. Spins around his challenge. Just spins back to keep Brighton on the ball. So we're into the last 7.5 minutes of the first half. Brighton lead by a goal to 0. They're getting a bit loose again. Goodness me, O'Reilly's giving it away. Here's Armstrong. Another shot from Fernandez. Calls a handball, but O'Reilly there to pick it back up for Brighton, and the referee plays on. Nice link up with Mitoma. O'Reilly. Estupinha. Now Mitoma in space down the left hand side. There's room to manoeuvre. Mitoma ticks on his man. Plays it to Estupinha, who whips the cross in and Ruter. Couldn't really get much pace on it. And Manning does just enough to put it out for the throw. That's much more positive from Brighton. Much more controlled as O'Reilly takes it under control from the throw-in. Ruter now. As Ayari switches it across to Estupinha. Back to Igor. Now Van Hecke. To Lamptey. Tried to go for the fake one, but Manning was having none of that. Saw it all day long. Here's Igor. Estupinian. Just a bit more comfortable on the ball at the minute, Brighton. A bit more fluid in their attacking football as O'Reilly plays it into Lamptey's path now. Lamptey with the early cross again. Cleared away as O'Reilly wins it back. Ruter takes it round his defender. In the box, lots of pink shirts in the way, but Ruter squeezes out a corner off Kyle Walker-Peters. Makes the most of that opportunity, does Jorginho Ruter. Again, Lamptey tries to go for the early cross. It was Welbeck this time, was in the middle. Well headed away by Jack Stevens, but one back by O'Reilly. Plays it into Ruter's path, who gets past Walker-Peters the first time. And then just rescues a corner from that situation. does Ruter, which O'Reilly will take on the right hand side. Right footed ball delivered in, headed away by Downs. Right to Pedro on the left hand side. Estupinian. Now Pedro to Mitoma. Estupinian back to Karu Mitoma. Now Pedro takes the ball in his stride, has the shot blocked. It's Walker Peters. Back to Lumley. Two Brighton players, goodness me. Talk about taking risks. Two Brighton players within about 3 yards of him, and Joe Lumley plays it between the two of them. And it works out, but talk about taking risks. Harwood Bellis. After Southampton dominating the possession in the first 15 minutes, it's just crossed the 50-50 mark again. 52% for Brighton, 48% for Southampton. Brighton have had 9 shots to Southampton's 3. Just the one on target, which was Mitoma's headed goal. But more than double the amount of touches in the opponent's box do Brighton have on Southampton. 16-7 so far. So everything stats-wise just swinging back in Brighton's favour at the moment. And the biggest one is that one at the top of your screen, the scoreline. Van Hecke, nice direct ball into Welbeck. Battling there with Stevens, and well won by the Southampton defender. As Manning skips away from a challenge by Ruter. Again, pinning themselves into a corner here at Southampton as they have to boot it clear. But given away by Archer, straight back to Welbeck. Now Mitoma couldn't take it with him, was Ruter. Brighton coming close, but Southampton almost gifting them another opportunity. Here's Fernandez to break away for the Saints. Into the path of Dibbling. Now down the right hand side it comes. It's the ball into the box, but no one there as Manning will strike it. And cleared away by Lamptey. Behind for the corner to Southampton. It's better from Southampton there on that right hand side. Nice play down that right flank, but the ball into the box. No one in the middle. He just passes it into a space, but fortunately it falls for Ryan Manning, arriving at the back post and deflects off Lamptey and behind for the corner. Maybe a bit of fortune there for Southampton, but again, just a misplaced cross. Ultimately comes for the corner. Fernandez, right-footed delivery. Up in the air by Armstrong from the front post, still alive. Goes for it again, but hooked away by Brighton here as Mitoma tries to battle one-on-one with Walker Peters, but the Southampton defender coming out on top on that one and winning a free kick. 2 minutes to go with the first half. Southampton maybe making a bit of a positive push before the interval. Play down the right hand side and Archer misses the target completely. I think it was Sugawara with a cross from the right hand side. Again, it's Dibbling into Downs. Downs out to Sugawara, and he just goes for the cross into the box. Archer's there lurking in the 6-yard box. Nice ball by Sugawara past Igor, and he just kind of shins it. Does Cameron Archer and puts it well wide. That's the chances, that's the gilt edge opportunities you need to be taking when you're given and gifted them by the opponent. It's Igor trying to find Mitoma, but desperate that as Sugawara in the way and Harwood Bellis. Now Downs. Harwood Bellis trying to find Archer, but well closed out by Igor, out for the throw. Harwood Bellis. Stevens. Fernandez. Back to Harwood Bellis again. Out to Sugawara. Has to turn back on himself though. Back to his keeper. Lumley. We'll go direct Hoofs the ball up the field, trying to find Armstrong. Well, closed out by the Brighton defenders. Ayari into Van Hecke. Now Lamptey. Not in a hurry to get forward there, Lamptey, as he comes back to his keeper in Verbruggen. He plays it out to Igor. We will have 4 added minutes at the end of the first half. A few stoppages. A few injury stoppages in this first half. Sees us have 4 added minutes. As Brighton nick it away again with Welbeck. Here's Ruter. Good bit of distance to go to arrive into the box. Ruter will square it across to Mitoma. Now out wide for Estupinian. Back through into Mitoma's path, who tries to cross it. Well closed out by Southampton, and the challenge there by Ayari on the Brighton player is penalised, or the Southampton player penalised, and a free kick goes the way of the visitors. An update from the Championship for you. They're coming to the end of the first half there at Bramall Lane. But there's been some big moments in that first half. A missed penalty and a red card in that game. Still 0-0, but it is very dramatic 0-0 so far. As Patrick Roberts for Sunderland, had a chance to give them the lead at Bramall Lane, but he missed a penalty saved by the goalkeeper of Sheffield United, Michael Cooper. He made the save, and Chris Mepham got a last man red card for Sunderland, so they're down to 10, but it is still 0-0. It was a dramatic game there up north, but back here down south between the South Coast opponents. There is just a little goal of Karim Mitoma's to separate the sides. Very little other than that, to be honest, in this first half, to be completely frank with you. Southampton have certainly not been battered out of the game. They're still very much in this game, no doubt about it, although passes like that by Jack Stevens won't help them out. Here's Mitoma. Cuts it back for Pedro. Takes too much time with this. As João Pedro straight down the throat of Joe Lumley, but just when I thought he'd lost his chance at sticking the strike, he just kind of jinks his way past Flynn Dines and has the strike, but no real threat to the Saints keeper there. Again, a giveaway ball straight back to Brighton. Estupinian, now Ayari. Pedro on the spin. Nice work, and goes under down under a challenge from Flynn Dines. Again, Flynn Dines committing a foul, and another calls of off from the crowd, but I don't think the referee's going to be tempted by that again, but he's certainly getting closer to it. I can tell you that for nothing. And a free kick for Brighton. And another set piece for the Saints to defend. I mean, it's just a bit silly, that, from João Pedro, really. There's not massive amounts of contact in it, but a bit clumsy from Dines, maybe. Some hands to the back, but again, very little contact in it. Pedro, maybe a bit smart there, shall we say. The dark arts. Last minute of the first half, Brighton have a free kick in a really good area, as you can see on the match map there. Wide of the left side of the box. Good opportunity to whip the ball in. So Riley and Ayari over this for Brighton. Got an option on the edge of the box as well with Mitoma if they want to go for that, but let's see what they do. Ayari leaves it. O'Reilly with a left-footed cross, as Armstrong heads clear. Really tame. Non-threatening cross, that, in the end. Pretty lackluster. Anticlimactic. That set piece. Oh, not a great touch by Howard Bellis as Stevens thumps it clear, and that is the end of the first half. A first half, really, where there's been minimal difference between the two sides. They both have been a bit sloppy on the ball, both have been a bit loose in their passing, but one thing is for certain, Brighton have the quality at the top end of the pitch that has them ahead at the break. Karim Mitoma with a nice diving header from Tariq Lamptey's cross. Southampton had a few half chances, but nothing more than that in the first half, and that is where we leave you at the break. Half time at the Amex. It's Brighton 1, Southampton 0. Welcome back to Premier League Live this Friday evening here on LFS with me, Kevin First. Great to have you with us this evening for this one between Brighton and Southampton on the South Coast as we start our festive period here on LFS, and it's great to get it started with you all the way through the end of November, today and tomorrow, and all the way through December till the new year. And game one of our new festive period sees Brighton leading Southampton at half-time by a goal to nil. Karim Mitoma with the diving header from a cross by Tariq Lamptey. Those crosses we've missed in the Premier League. He was prolific with those crosses a few seasons ago, was Tariq Lamptey, but this time we've seen a repeat of that, a resurgence of that tonight, and Karim Mitoma finding the back of the net for his third Premier League goal of the season. He scored last time out against Bournemouth, and his only other Premier League goal this campaign came very early in the season, quite frankly, the first game of the season in a 3-0 win away at Everton. So a goal to keep his good form going, Karim Mitoma in the league this season. So far, again, it's more the same. I mean, I think by game 20, 25, 30, whatever you want to call it, by whatever point of the season, I think by Matchday 13, we're a bit bored of saying it, but Southampton, it's just all the same. I think they're doing the same things and expecting different results, and I don't understand how. I mean, they've been a bit more knowledgeable with it this evening, but again, a few times where I've said in that first half, oh my god, they're taking big risks, and they are. Now, of course, that's the philosophy, that's the idea, that's what Russell Martin wants to build his team on, that kind of intensity football, but also taking risks, playing out from the back, no matter what the situation. Sometimes it's very naive, sometimes it works well, because we see the big sides do it and it works well, but it comes down to having the quality in your team to do it. But we're seeing them slowly but surely improve on that. But again, is there risk to reward balance actually in a positive? Not quite yet. From my point of view, I think we've seen it a few sloppy passes before the end of the half where Brighton maybe, if they were a bit more clinical, a bit more fluid in the final third, Brighton, they maybe could have taken one or two more chances. But other than that, I would say Southampton have looked decently involved in the game. I don't think they're well out of it or completely being battered by Brighton, no doubt about it, in this first half. I think it's been quite even in terms of possession of the football, but other than that, it's probably been, the stats have all been in Brighton's favour with the shots, the chances, the good moments, the attack in play, the threat in the final third, the touches in the opposition box, the XG even massively in Brighton's favour. So Southampton may be clinging on to that possession game again, which we talked massively before. Have as much of the ball as you want, but if you're not doing anything with it, it's just a waste of passes and possession. But I think they've been a bit more direct at times this evening. I wouldn't want to call them direct because I wouldn't want Russell Martin to hunt me down, but that's certainly not what they want to be, is direct Southampton. We can see that. They want to be more passive. They want to play it from the back. They want to have, I think, the kind of perfect outcome for Russell Martin would have 40 passes in the build-up to a goal. That would be the perfect way of expressing it, what Sir Russell Martin wants from his team. But tonight we're seeing them be a slightly bit more direct, of course, still taking those risks, playing out from the back in those moments, but I still think they're being a bit more direct, being a bit more knowledgeable, and I think Russell Martin kind of initiated that in his interview before the game. He said about being more smart and feeling when we can play out from the back more often, because sometimes it's just not possible, and when they feel that pressure, maybe be a bit smarter about it, maybe go long once or twice, not all the time, but once or twice, and maybe just release that bit of pressure. You might be giving a ball straight back to Brighton, but at least try and threaten, get yourself up the pitch, get yourself out of your own box, and give you time to your defence time to reset itself. Sometimes a long ball isn't about going direct and hitting your centre forward. It's about giving your defence a bit of time to kind of reset themselves and try and counter press and win the ball back. And sometimes I think Southampton kind of drain themselves by constantly playing out from the back, giving the ball away and not having time to recover and gifting goals away. We've seen it against Dominic Szoboszlai for Liverpool's opening goal against the Saints a few days ago. We saw that opportunity, and that's where it comes from. That naivety at times to just keep playing out from the back. But I think, to be honest, and to be fair to Southampton this evening, I do think they have been a bit smarter with it, slightly, not massively, but slightly, maybe going a slight bit more direct with a football on occasion. It could be goalkeeper-wise, but certainly we're seeing a bit more of that long ball forward opportunities, but not by much, in a sense, in that first half. Ultimately, I would have to say that might be down to the goalkeeper. Ultimately, I'm just seeing a few replays of Brighton chances in that first half, and you have to say they've been the better side so far. Marginally, but they've been the better side. I mean, 10 shots to 5 in the game, so they've had double the amount of shots, albeit only 2 shots on target. So poor finishing from Brighton's point of view. They've had 5 shots off target in that first half, so they've been a bit poor in the final third in terms of their finishing. And that's what I mean by, if they were just a bit more kind of switched on in the final third, Brighton, or a bit sharper, they could have Southampton out of this game by half time. And maybe they're riding their luck a little bit, Southampton, in a sense. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but they haven't had a shot on target yet, have the visitors so far. So that's one thing that is going against them. And also the fact that they're maybe getting away with it, the fact that Brighton have only had 2 shots on target from 10 shots so far. But again, it's something for Russell Martin's team to build on. They're only 1-0 down at half-time. They've probably defended a bit better than they have done in recent times, albeit the goal pretty poor, and I don't think he'd be very happy with that at all. It's a simple cross from a good crosser in Tariq Lamptey, although maybe some people have forgotten it. I certainly haven't. I remember those beautiful crosses for Brighton over the years for Tariq Lamptey. I'm saying it like he's a veteran legend. He's still a very young player. He's still quite young, but certainly lit up the Premier League with those crosses in his early few years. But again, given far too much time, edge of the box, nice cross in, Mitoma pouncing upon an opportunity which Sugawara was completely unawares to, and that's what has Brighton ahead. Really good header, really good finish, and a really good cross. But again, Southampton lapse of concentration, and at this level, you just don't get away with things like that. And that has clearly been shown by the scoreline at half-time, but they're still in the game, so there's still some positives to take out of that first half. That they're only 1-0 down and not further behind, which they certainly could be. Right, so the second half at the Amex is about 5 minutes away, but let's just tell you what's to come this Premier League weekend. 5 games tomorrow. Brentford take on Leicester. Now, Leicester don't have Ruud van Nistelrooy in charge for that game away at Brentford tomorrow. They will have their assistant coach, first-team coach, take charge of that game after Steve Cooper's dismissal. Ruud van Nistelrooy will take charge of this first game on Tuesday night, which we will have live here in LFS, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock here in LFS, as they take on West Ham United at the King Power Stadium. And you can watch that one here live in LFS with Ruud van Nistelrooy's first game in charge of the Foxes. They head to Brentford tomorrow at 3. Crystal Palace host Newcastle. Ipswich head to Nottingham Forest. Wolves take on Bournemouth. Those are the 3 o'clock games. A late game tomorrow is a London derby between West Ham United and Arsenal. Tomorrow. Then on Sunday we have 4 games. 3 of them kicking off at 1:30. Now, just to remind you, usually it's 2 o'clock and 4:30 for Sunday games. In the Premier League UK time, that is. This weekend, the early games are 1:30, and the late game, Liverpool-Man City, is 4 o'clock. So they're half an hour earlier than what they would be. But Chelsea take on Villa. That's the game we're covering here. Everton head to Manchester United. Ruben Amorim with his first home Premier League game in charge of Manchester United after he got his first home win in charge on Thursday, last night at home to Bodo Glimt in the Europa League. And Tottenham host Fulham in a London derby as well on Sunday before that huge game, that massive game at Anfield Sunday 4 o'clock as Liverpool host Manchester City, the top two in the Premier League. Before kick-off tonight, they're not going to be the top two going into that game if Brighton keep winning this evening, but Manchester City could find themselves 11 points adrift of top of the table Liverpool if they lose at Anfield on Sunday, but as close as 5 points adrift if they pick up victory at Anfield, which they haven't done in a while. We will see what the outcome is on Sunday at 4 o'clock. That's what's to come this weekend, and we've got a jam-packed December for you. As I mentioned, on Tuesday night we watch Leicester take on West Ham. There's also Ipswich Crystal Palace on Tuesday night as well to keep you tasty. 8:15 kick-off at the King Power between Leicester and West Ham. On Wednesday night, there are 6 games in the Premier League. We will be watching Arsenal take on Manchester United at the Emirates. That's an 8:15 kick-off, but there's some early games: Everton Wolves, Man City Forest, Newcastle Liverpool, Southampton Chelsea, and then Aston Villa Brentford is an 8:15 on Wednesday night as well. And then on Thursday night, Fulham Brighton, and our game that we'll be watching is Bournemouth Tottenham, and another 8:15 kick-off. You know, the festive period in December has arrived when there's midweek Premier League games, and you can watch 3 of those 10 games that are all live on midweek here on LFS, 1 each night, so you will be well entertained and well kept up to date with the action here on LFS, so you will not miss a moment from Matchday 13 or 14 in the Premier League. And just a reminder for you before we take this quick break that it is Rainbow Laces weekends in the Premier League over the next 2 weeks, this weekend and midweek coming. Rainbow Laces campaign by Stonewall will be representing the LGBTQ plus community in football and saying that football is for everyone and that no one should be excluded. Right, the second half on the South Coast between Brighton and Southampton is on the way next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Premier League Live this Friday evening for the start of Matchday 13 this season. As I said, don't forget Sunday afternoon, Chelsea against Aston Villa. That says Sunday at 2 o'clock. It's not 2 o'clock, let me just remind you. It's Sunday at 1:30. Obviously, the graphics team aren't aware of that. Chelsea Villa, Sunday 1:30 here on LFS. Right, back into the game at the Amex. The kick-off to the second half is on the way in just a moment. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers, and it'd be great to get there before the end of the year. That would be fantastic, and we greatly appreciate each and every one of you who's joining us this evening to keep watching and to enjoy the stream with us. Let's just quickly have a look at the poll in the chat. We do have a poll running in the chat this evening on who you wish to win this game. If I can access it. At the moment I can't. Let me see if I can get this. There we are. Apologies for this. But we are waiting for the second half, so we're all waiting patiently for both sides to return to the field of play. And I can tell you that I'm not telling you the only way's up. The poll's disappeared. Lovely. Nonetheless, but do vote in the poll in the chat. That is there for you. It is there. So do vote on that. That's flustered me. That's absolutely flustered me. players back out for the second half here on LFS for Brighton against Southampton. Brighton leading by a goal to nil at half time. Brighton for kicking from right to left, and Southampton kicking from left to right in the second half, where the Saints have to come from behind once again to try and pick up something here on the road. As I said, they haven't won or picked up a single point on the road this season in the Premier League, and they have not picked up a point when conceding first in the Premier League this season. So the cards are certainly stacked against them, but records are there to be broken, as they say, and you never know. There's a first time for everything, and there's certainly a first time for Southampton to try and get something here tonight. No changes at the break, by the way, as well, so certainly keeping us guessing as to what their teams will do in the second half. Well, both managers. I think, to be honest, Fabian Hürzeler, the Brighton head coach, won't be too disappointed with his team's performance. Of course, they're leading at the break, obviously, as Estepinian goes for another early cross. Headed away, Ayari picks it up. But Hürzeler will be thinking, I think he just wants the side probably to be a bit more clinical in the final third when the chances come their way and just put this game to bed. But of course will remind his team to not be complacent. They're only 1-0 up and the game is certainly not won yet. But from Russell Martin's point of view, I think he will want more from his team. I think he'll want more invention. I think he'll want more attacking display from his team. We've not really seen much of Adam Armstrong or Cameron Archer massively in this game. Tyler Dibling's been a bit quiet, got a bit quieter as the half went on. And really they've lacked that threat in the final third so far, have Southampton. But here comes Lamptey for Brighton. Tariq Lamptey off the right hand side, plays it back. The cross into the box comes Welbeck's way, but the ball bounces out and goes behind for a goal kick. But I think Danny Welbeck's wanting a corner. And he doesn't get one from my calculations there. Yeah, goal kick given by the officials. Maybe Danny Welbeck was just trying to test his luck. Chance his arm with the referee there in that one, because it didn't look anywhere near going out for a corner. But goal kick given. That's a ball played down to Armstrong, but rules out of play for a Brighton throw. Again, just really lacking in the final third at the moment. Getting the ball from back to front, Southampton struggling in that area of the pitch at the minute. Brighton just seem to have a bit more control in midfield. I mean, you see it, Ayari and O'Reilly, in a sense, just kind of covering those spaces in the middle, and really little to no room for Southampton to kind of exploit at the moment. Pedro a bit frustrated there that he wanted a foul, but throw in given to Brighton, so I don't think he can have too many complaints. He's certainly very vocal against the referee there. It's João Pedro, and the flag's gone up here against Danny Welbeck, so a free kick for Southampton. And free kick taken. No waiting around there for Southampton in that sense. I think they do need to be a bit quicker in the second half. They were a bit lumpy. Lumpy? That's not the right word. Lackadaisical is a great word for Southampton in that first half. They were just lacking a bit in their intensity in the game at times, and has let them down as Tyler Dibling wins a free kick off Yasin Ayari, which certainly upset the Brighton midfielder who thought there was nothing in it. And it did look like he kind of caught Dibling there. And a free kick given to Southampton. Back with Sugawara. Here's back to Lumley. Plays it out to the left-hand side for Manning. Again, considering they're playing a back five as well, Southampton, we've not seen much kind of attacking action from either wing-back, in a sense, from Sugawara or Manning. A few crosses from Sugawara, but that's barely it. That's all we've really seen. It's the press from Brighton here. Lumley. Out to Walker-Peters, now Manning. That's well dealt with, but the ball by Manning straight back to Brighton, and Ayari here to pick it up. As the referee's going to play advantage from a foul on O'Reilly. Here's Lamptey charging forward. Plays it to Welbeck. Fed through for O'Reilly. Across, but no one there to tap it in. Mitoma was lurking, but didn't see the ball come across the box and goes to nothing there. O'Reilly taken down. Lamptey plays into a nice space to Welbeck. Welbeck plays it through for O'Reilly. Tries to square it across the 6-yard box, and Mitoma was arriving, but just not quick enough. And Sugawara had it covered, I think, anyway, but O'Reilly did as best as he could there. Another close call for Southampton. Another one going on a begging for Brighton. Sugawara had to deal with an awkward header, but did well with Downs. Now goes back to Harwood Bellis. Lumley. Oh my goodness me, what's he done there? Jesus. Ruder with a shot deflected behind. It absolutely baffles me. I gave Southampton a bit more praise in that first half. What is Joe Lumley doing here? The goalkeeper literally gives the ball back to Brighton. I mean, they're under pressure, and he just rolls it out into his 18-yard box. Here, have a free shot at my goal. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't understand how naive you have to be. Corner for Brighton, delivered into the box. Brought down by Pedro. And it's to Pinion. Shot deflected, still alive though. Van Hecke brought down to Welbeck. Flag stayed down. Now Pedro chipped across, bounces back out, calls a handball. Pedro gets it again. Chips his way to the byline, cuts it across. Lumley with a left hand save. And the flag will now go up against Brighton. It took a long time, that. But back to the point. Joe Lumley, I mean, I don't know what to say anymore, really. You'll have to watch it back a bit later on. It will certainly be in the highlights, because it's absolutely just ridiculously stupid. Incredibly stupid. And there's just no other explanation for it. I mean, I gave them praise in that first half, being a bit smarter, a bit more knowledgeable. I mean, they pulled the wool over my eyes, certainly. I mean, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. And I thought the weekend was bad against Liverpool with those passes out from the back, but that was awful. It's just a lack of awareness, an understanding of how to play football. I mean, people complain, and maybe you could call it old style football, as Lamptey gets a bit cute in his own defensive area there. Puts it out for a corner, but maybe Brighton gets catching for Bruggen, and then what's that? I mean, I don't get it. Maybe it's a bit dinosaur football, but a dinosaur take for me. But honestly, I love playing from the back and high pressure intensity football, but just don't do it in certain moments. Just don't be idiotic with it. You know, not everybody's able to do it. Corner for Southampton to the back post. Brought down by Harwood Bellis. Spun round the corner. Dibbling with a cross, but easily, safely gathered by Bart Verbruggen. Sometimes it really pains me to watch football where a team is so incessant on playing out from the back. They don't care whether they concede goals. It's, oh, I want to play from the back because it's the stylish thing to do. No! Your job as a football team is to try and win a game of football, not gift the opponent a goal just because you want to play out from the back. No! It's just dumb. It's really dumb. Anyway, moving on, because I could talk about it for the next few weeks on end, honestly. I could talk about it from now to the end of the game, but we have to move on as Manning tries to go for the deep cross, but that's far too much on that one by the Southampton left wing back, and that goes for goal kick. It's just wasted possession at the moment for Southampton. Adam Lallana not on the bench, he's behind the bench. Of course, came off injured against his former club in Liverpool in Sunday's game. So he was kind of running the show in that 10 role for Southampton, but had to come off with an injury, and that's going to be was a big blow, and will continue to be a big blow for the Saints. Very experienced footballer. Lallana had his little spell here at Brighton as well after leaving Liverpool. Of course, Adam Lallana originally came from Southampton, went to Liverpool from Southampton all those years ago. It's a lovely ball by Igor into the space for Mitoma, who's absolutely bodied there by Taylor Harwood-Bellis. And Harwood-Bellis is going to get a yellow card for that challenge. But he is left screaming at his team and allowing that to happen. And I have to be honest, I agree with him, because that ball by Estupiñán, nice ball, but there was 3 Southampton players in the way and not a single one of them struck out a leg to try and get in the way. And this has now left Taylor Harwood-Bellis with his 5th yellow card of the season. And just like his teammate in Flynn Downes, he will miss the game against Chelsea. So they're dropping like flies at the minute here for Southampton. Harwood-Bellis and Downes will both miss the next Premier League game against Chelsea. And Brighton have a free kick at the moment. Ayari and Estupiñán over it. Estupiñán goes round the corner, headed away by Sugawara, and the follow-up is O'Reilly's effort, but well gathered by Lumley. Nice adjustment from Matt O'Reilly from the edge of the box. Saw it from a while away and kind of struck it into the ground, and it bobbled up nicely for Joe Lumley to gather. An update from the Championship to tell you about. There was a goal, no goals, still 0-0, but there was another red card. I said that Sunderland had missed a penalty and had a man sent off. Well, Sheffield United must have felt sorry for them, because they also got a man sent off. Second yellow card for Harry Suter just before half-time has them down to 10, so it's 10v10 at Bramall Lane, and it is still goalless between Sheffield United and Sunderland. I'll update you if anything changes there throughout the evening. So far it's been all drama, but no goals. Here's Manning. Downes. Now to Sugawara. Nice ball into the path of Archer down the right hand flank. Archer to whip it in, but far too much on that one for Armstrong to get anywhere near, and Lamptey's under pressure, but does really well, Tariq Lamptey, to hit the ball off Fernandez and win his side a throw in there. Does the Brighton defender. But again, better from Southampton. Ball down the right hand side. Sugawara sees the ball down the right hand line to Cameron Archer, who made the run in behind. Archer tried to go for the cross. It was the right idea to cross it, but just not the right execution. And ultimately, Brighton recover the ball. But again, slightly better, but then again, just not enough. It's Pedro in a tussle with Dibbling in the middle there it was. As the ball comes all the way back to Lumley for Southampton. Sugawara. Stevens. Around the corner. Fernandez now Dibbling. Skips away from the challenge of Igor. Here is Tyler Dibbling. Into Armstrong on the turn. Armstrong. Now a chance. Back to Adam Armstrong. Closed down, and the shot by Downes is in. Flynn Downes. They're at the right place at the right time. And Southampton have levelled the game. All the criticisms in the world against them. Everything's piled against them in the stats wise. But Flynn Downes, it's not the cleanest of goals. It's not the most beautiful of finishes. But they all count. It all starts with Tyler Dibbling skipping away from a challenge beautifully into the path of Armstrong, who I thought was going to have the chance, and then falls to the path of Manning, back to Armstrong, who shoots, deflects out for Downes, who's first to react, and the strike, pass for Bruggen, and Southampton are level. I said they were still in the game, despite them probably being second best all throughout the evening, but Brighton failing to add a second to the score sheet means that Southampton will always be a threat up the other ends, and that is what we're seeing now. Brighton 1, Southampton 1, and no happier a man in this stadium than Russell Martin. Flynn Downes with a leveller, and Southampton are on the score sheet, and Flynn Downes has his first Premier League goal, which is certainly why he was so passionate in his equalising, in his reaction to that equalising goal. Brighton 1, Southampton 1. And now it's certainly game on. Gets very interesting. Could this be the night that Southampton kind of kickstart their season? Could it be the night that they get themselves going? It's been a season so far where they've not been at the level, not been at the races. Tonight they've been more competitive. And now João Pedro and Flynn Downes, great moment, could be coming even worse. No, the referee is again erring aside of caution. Russell Martin's going nuts to the Brighton response in the sidelines. Flynn Downes has had about 3 challenges whilst on a yellow card. I mean, he is certainly, if you're talking about toe in the line between a yellow and a red, that is certainly toe in the line. The referee has been very, very lenient here, I have to say. But João Pedro goes down under a challenge. I mean, to be fair, it's a foul, but it's not a second yellow. But I think Brighton were making the claim that maybe accumulation, but again, trying to do the referee's job, and a couple of yellow cards are coming out here. It's gone to the people on the sidelines. I think it's some of the Southampton backroom staff. I've no idea who. I think Russell Martin might have got a yellow for for whatever, arguing with the fourth official or whatever it is. Anyway, a few yellow cards handed out on the sidelines. That's not important at the moment because Brighton have a free kick in a good area. Ayari and Estupiñán over it again, and they could have the perfect response to being pegged back level here. As Southampton ready some changes on the sidelines, we'll not see them just yet before this free kick. Estupiñán and Ayari. Ayari leaves it. Estupiñán to deliver. Whipped across and Welbeck does take a deflection. Will be a corner. Wasn't much pace on it from Danny Welbeck, to be honest. He kind of just swiped at it, but did take a deflection on the way through, and will get Brighton another set piece. And Yari will come over to take this corner on the left-hand side for Brighton. The crowd trying to G up their team. Yassine Yari with a corner. Right-footed delivery. Whipped into the box. Headed away by Southampton. Estupiñán will hit one. Took a deflection. And easily gathered by Lumley, who tries to send his team on the break here with Armstrong. Armstrong now. Fed beautifully through. This is a chance. Ball across to Trent Van Archer, who does keep it in. Now Dibbling on the right-hand side. Howard Bellis, nice ball. Archer couldn't really retrieve it. And Brighton clear it away, but it looks like they're on the back foot at the moment. Now the home side, all of a sudden, that leveller certainly sparked Southampton into life. Certainly a better game for the neutral anyway, that with that equaliser. Here's Dibbling. Tries to go on the inside, does get on the inside of Mitoma, but can't get it past Ayari, although Sugawara wins it back well off Ayari. Howard Bellis, now to Stevens. Taylor Howard Bellis. Chips one out to the right hand side. Sugawara has made the run forward here. He tries to cross it low, but Bart Verbruggen's seen it all the way and gathered comfortably for the home side. Matt Gill, part of the Southampton backroom staff, was only yellow. A bit earlier I did say there was a few yellows, but I think it was just the one. I don't understand why he got a yellow. No idea. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Estupiñán. Igor. Brighton maybe a bit more cautious in their approach at the moment, not wanting to overdo it. And Yari to O'Reilly. Now Igor. Back to Estupiñán. Down the left as Mitoma. To O'Reilly. Nice football by Brighton. Lovely from O'Reilly to skip away. Now Pedro plays in Mitoma. This is better. As Mitoma, well charged down by Jack Stevens, who come flying across and puts it out for a Brighton throw. Now we will see the changes for the Saints. So Flynn Downs, who has come under a bit of caution tonight from this home crowd. They've certainly wanted on a few occasions him to get a second yellow, but he's going to evade that. He's had 5 fouls this game, the most of any player, but he escapes with a goal and a yellow card. Certainly frustrating the home crowd anyway. And Ryan Fraser's going to be coming on along with Joe Aribo for Southampton. Flynn Downs is going to be one of those going off. And the other substitution coming off is Yukinari Sugawara. So Downs and Sugawara off, and Fraser and Aribo on. .25 to go. Brighton 1, Southampton 1. It's the most common result in the Premier League games between these two. Our draws, 6 of their 12 meetings. Our draws, but that cross is headed over by Routser. Yeah, it was decent play, that. Nice work from Igor to break into a bit of space and whips a cross in. Routser was there, but maybe got a bit of a shove there by Ryan Fraser, which Routser was asking the question of the referee, but there's nowhere near enough in that for a penalty. And it goes for a goal kick. Oh, goodness me. More of that playing out from the back. They get away with it this time, Southampton. Harwood Bellis. Mitoma is penalised for that. But again, is it really a worse risk worth taking at that point? I mean, I get if you want to play up from the back, but they're being far too casual about it. They're acting like they're prime Barcelona, prime Man City. I mean, relax, will you? Here's Dibbling. Lovely ball. Look at this from Fraser. Down the left-hand side, Ryan Fraser into the box. Archer! The tables have been turned on the South Coast. Count Southampton out at your peril at the moment. Brighton, who looked in cruise control at half-time, just the 1 goal up, have been spellbinded, stunned by Southampton. Counter-attack of pure perfection by the Saints. Tussle in the middle. Dibbling breaks away. Dibbling again, the architect for all things good for the Saints. Played into Ryan Fraser. Fraser across the box, and Archer. Oh, is he offside? You have to watch this. VAR might have their say in this one. Oh, it's so tight. I think he might just be off here. He might. VAR checking it. And the Saints fans certainly making their voices heard. VAR are checking it. The lines will be drawn. It is, who's that, Lamptey at the back, at the front post up against Fraser. He might be the one involved, or is it Van Hecke? One of the two. But whoever the last man is for Brighton, it looks like Archer might be just offside from that left leg, that left foot. But Jared Gillett is the VAR, assisted by Stuart Burt in Stockley Park, and they will be checking this one to see if it is a goal for Southampton. If it is, it will certainly send their visiting fans into delirium here at the Amex. The home crowd might have something to say if it is disallowed. Initially, I had no issue with it, but as soon as you saw the replay, it looked like it might have been just offside. Let's see what VAR has to say. And making sure they get the right decision, because this is crucial. This is huge. This is a huge moment in this game. There's a big VAR decision that went Southampton's way against Liverpool on Sunday in giving that penalty that Adam Armstrong got the equaliser from. But this is even more huge. A game that could give Southampton the lead, a goal that could give Southampton the lead in this one, and that is ever so tight. The lines are being drawn, and every second that ticks by, the more tense this game becomes, and the more tense both teams become, really, in waiting for the decision. Russell Martin in conversation with the fourth official, John Busby, on the sidelines. I don't know what he's expecting John Busby to know or anything, but Jared Gillett waiting to tell, well, Rob Jones waiting to hear from Jared Gillett what the decision is. And they're certainly taking their time. When is this automated stuff coming in? Semi-automated stuff. I mean, we've been told that was coming in at some point this season, but still it evades us. And the decision, I think, might be on. You know, he's onside. And this, a visiting crowd, will go nuts in a second. Making sure all is fine. I mean, what are they checking now? So he's onside, but they're now checking if Adam Armstrong impacts the ball. There's nothing in that. Just allow the goal, will you? He's onside as Cameron Archer. There's no worry about that. They're checking if Adam Armstrong, who was in an offside position, whether he flicks the ball in the process to Archer getting it. But, I mean, there's nothing that I can see there that there's any contact. So I think this just needs to stop. This is ridiculous now. And it's getting to the point where I think they're trying to find a way to disallow this goal. I mean, hurry up. People have beds to be going to in a few hours' time. Can't be here all night. And VAR have had their say, and the goal. No goal. Oh my goodness me. What is going on? No goal. I am as baffled as anyone why that goal has been disallowed. I've no words. So, Cameron Archer, who scored the goal, he was onside, he was fine. No issues. Took a long time checking that anyway. Then, Adam Armstrong, who was offside, is now deemed to have impacted the play because he flicked his foot in the area of the ball and therefore has impacted the play in an offside position, and therefore the goal can't stand. That's what I've gathered from that, but that makes absolutely no sense in my opinion, because I don't think he has impacted the play. And I disagree with the VAR decision there, but once again, VAR splitting opinion. It took a long time to disallow a goal and agree with an on-field decision. I don't know. I really don't know anymore. Double substitution by Brighton, by the way. I have no idea who they were because I was ranting about the goal being disallowed, but a big let-off for Brighton nonetheless. And a bit of a disappointment for Southampton. Well, there we are. Let's get back to the game anyway. Oh, Lumley messing about at the back there again. Mitoma, Welbeck, Ayari. Simon Adingra is now on the field. Adingra. Oh, and the shot by Ruter is deflected but behind. Tried to go for the acrobatic one there, Jorginho Ruter, and the shot took a deflection and goes behind for the corner. Yeah, he went for the acrobatic right-footed effort. Comes off the right shoulder. Think of it as that Howard Bellis, and it goes behind for the corner to Brighton. I do know Simon Adingra is on the field. I've seen him coming on, so I know he's on the field. I can't remember who the other. I can't see who the other one was. Actually, it's Lewis Dunk who's on now. And Vifer has also come onto the field, so a triple change as Ayari delivers into the box. Header of the back post for Dunk, but over the bar. So confirm those changes for you. O'Reilly, Pedro and Lamptey all off for Brighton, and Dunk, Vifer and Adingra all on. So a triple change there for the home side, trying to reignite them in this game when a spell where they've been just really off it, and Southampton have tried to take advantage. They almost had the advantage before that VAR controversy that disallowed that second goal, which still has us level here at the moment. But Vifer plays a lovely ball out to Adingra on the right hand side. Adingra right across the box, but Stevens in the way. Another Brighton corner. Just made me feel that Brighton will start to apply a lot more pressure on Southampton in these late stages and be kind of buoyed by that decision by VAR to disallow that second goal, and this might give them a bit of a boost into the final 15 minutes for the home side. as I said at the start of the game, they win tonight, Brighton, and they will be second in the Premier League table, above Manchester City by 2 points if they win this evening. The point would put them level on points with City. There's a dangerous corner, flicked on at the front post, but flicked behind by Cameron Archer for the corner once again for Brighton. Another chance to deliver. Dingra, left-footed delivery, flicked on by Wiefer, but behind for a goal kick there. The header over the bar by Wiefer. Yeah, he came across the front post, did Wiefer, up against Harwood Bellis. Won the header, but couldn't keep the header down. Good Mads Wiefer. Walker-Peters. Blocked down off Fernandez there. Mitoma back to Estupiñán. Pressure applied again as Southampton nicked the ball away. Here's Aribo. Skips his way through. Now to Walker-Peters on the right. To Dibbling. Back to Kyle Walker-Peters. Harwood Bellis toying about with the pressure again. Playing the ball in dangerous areas. Here's Manning. Certainly the visiting crowd that are the loudest at the moment. A rising chorus of When the Saints Go Marching In. Inside the Amex. Archer. Dibbling. Nice pick up of the ball there by Fernandez, but couldn't feed his pass through as Welbeck now tries to send Brighton on the counter with Ruter. Lovely bit of footwork from Ruter to escape the challenges. Into the path of Van Hecke. Now to Adingra. Back to Ayari. Wiefer couldn't find a way through. Well closed down by Southampton as Stevens goes down under a challenge. Wins the free kick for Southampton, which they take quickly. Harwood Bellis. Out to Fraser on the left hand side. Back to Aribo. In the balance. Brighton 1, Southampton 1. 13 minutes plus the additional time to go. Nice play by Armstrong. Fraser on the left hand side up against Van Hecke. Skips away from the challenge. Fraser's ball in is just a bit wayward in the end and has the right intent, but not the right execution once again, and that comes to nothing. Goal kick. Just see this disallowed goal again. I mean, Adam Armstrong, I don't know really, to be honest. I mean, he flicks his left leg out towards to try and race the ball, but he doesn't make contact. So yes, he may have tried to impact the game, but he doesn't impact it because he doesn't change the flight of the ball from the cross. So I'm baffled as to how VAR have actually found a way to disallow that goal, because it doesn't look like any sort of massive impact because he doesn't touch the ball. Anyway, another change for Brighton. Danny Welbeck's going to leave the field, and Evan Ferguson is going to be coming on. He scored 2 against Southampton the last time these two met, and that was in the 3-1 win back in May 2023. Scored the first 2 goals that gave Brighton a 2-0 lead in the game. Elianusi with the goal back for Southampton in the second half before Pascal Gross put it beyond reasonable doubt and confirmed the 3-1 victory later on for the Seagulls, who at that point were under the charge of, oh my god, I've forgotten his name. Anyway, Alex McCarthy's on the bench. Joe Lumley's down actually at the moment, receiving treatment. He's just got back to his feet just as I speak. Alex McCarthy was actually the keeper in that game for Southampton when they lost 3-1 here against Brighton back then, when they were under Roberto De Zerbi. Brighton back then. Ruben Selles was the Southampton manager back then. I say back then, it was only a year and a half ago, so it wasn't that long ago. It was the Southampton were already relegated by that point. Here's a Rebo. Still life in them yet. Late in this game. Dibbling. Not giving up on winning. Tyler Dibbling. Straight at Verbruggen in the end. Again, Tyler Dibbling. Doesn't have to show up too much in this game. In any game for Southampton, but still has that major threat. Such a young age. Just 18. Certainly can be one of the bright sparks for the future in the Premier League. Just 10 minutes to go. Is there a winner in this one? Estupinian with a switch ball. Couldn't find a ding gribbet. Evan Ferguson makes a nuisance of himself, but actually gives away a free kick rather than trying to win one. And it's Jack Stevens that's come off the worst of the players in that occasion. Yeah. It was actually Manning and Fraser that were involved with Ferguson. It was Manning that came off the worst in that tussle. Evan Ferguson gives away a free kick. Manning. Stevens. Robert Bellis back to Lumley. The ball pumped up the left flank, but no one there in pink for Southampton to pick it up. As Brighton win it back. Verbruggen. The dunk. Brighton taking the time, and they've given the ball away cheaply there by Van Hecke. Although thought they'd won it back, but Mateus Fernandes goes down under a challenge by Mats Pfeiffer, and that's a free kick to Southampton. Well, if Southampton are to hold on here, or at least even take the lead, it will be the first time this season they have gone on the road and left a visiting stadium with at least a point. That would be the first time this season that would have happened, but there's still a bit of time to go for that to change. Armstrong up at the corner flag, tries to whip in a ball towards Archer. Dibbling tries to adjust as Pfeiffer clears away. Now Brighton want to counter. Nice touch by Ruter. Mitoma tries to find Ferguson, but well closed out by Walker-Peters. I think it's been pulled back for a free kick earlier in the play. I think Brighton are going to get a free kick here. They are. Just see this, Tyler Dibbling. Bit of a foul on Ruter off the ball, so referee's just going to pull this back for a free kick. That's nice work from Mitoma. Lost the ball but wins it back right away. Now Ayari goes for the cross-in. Away by Howard Bellis. Ayari again. Now to Mitoma. Out to Estupinian. Mitoma. Back to Pfeiffer. Into Dunk. Breaking into the middle. Flicked on from Dunk by Ruter. Brighton look to keep the pressure on with the ball in the Southampton half. 6.5 to go, plus the additional. Igor. Flicked through. Here's one for Estupinian to chase. Chipped it at the byline. With a curling effort. Will go behind, but the offside flag was up anyway. Against Estupinian. Well, still awaiting a chance at a winning goal here, but there might just be a winner at Bramall Lane to tell you about in the Championship. Said there wasn't any goals, but certainly a lot of action between the two teams. Both down to 10, and a missed penalty for Sunderland. And that missed penalty could be ruled by Sunderland now, because Tom Davies has seemingly given Sheffield United what could be the winning goal in the 83rd minute, finding the back of the net, and Sheffield United lead by a goal to nil. The winner of that game will finish top of the championship tonight with a victory. That looks to be the Blades, Sheffield United, that are doing that against the Black Cats of Sunderland, but still time to go there anyway in the game. But it looks like Tom Davies might have got them their winner for Sheffield United. Still here though at the Amex, waiting for a chance at a winner. As I said, Brighton 1, Southampton 1. Both are decently pushing for it. Maybe Brighton a bit more than Southampton, but either side getting close enough at the moment to getting that crucial second goal that could be the difference. Armstrong, lovely nice football by Southampton. Now Fraser. Archer's in the middle again. Fraser. Cross. Head away by Igor, and now Estepinian, but not further clear as Aribo plays it back into Fraser. The flag stays down as Fraser puts the ball in, but straight at Lewis Dunk, who does really well in finding it out to Adingra to release the pressure into the path of Mitoma. Central here. He's got Ferguson ahead of him, but Mitoma wants to go himself. Got a bit flustered there as Ruter's ball through was closed down again, and Southampton seem to be dealing with everything Brighton are throwing at them at the moment and trying to threaten up the other end. Aribo, Fraser, into the path of Dibbling. Dibbling tried to play the ball through to Armstrong, but not on the same page there, those two, and Brighton recover the ball. Wiefer out to Estupinian for Brighton. There's another player waiting on the sidelines. It is a Brighton player waiting his appearance. Yankuba Minta is the one on the sideline waiting his appearance this evening, so we'll see him very shortly. Adingra going to charge his way through. Nice play by Adingra. Lays it off to Ayari now. Estupinian out to the left hand side for Mitoma, arriving into the box, flicks it to Adingra. Again, Southampton piling bodies in the way. Estupinian with a cross. Deep for Van Hecke, kept alive. Ayari brings it down, and the shot is over the bar, but I think the flag was up anyway. Might have been against Van Hecke in the earlier phase. Yeah, might have just been offside, Van Hecke. Just. Substitution then for Brighton. As I said, Jorginho Ruter is going to be leaving the field, and he's going to be replaced by Yankuba Minta for Brighton. So Yankuba Minta on for Ruter, and Southampton are going to make a change of their own later on here, and Cameron Archer is going to be replaced by Kamaldeen Sulemana. So Sulemana on for Archer for Southampton, and Minta on for Ruter for Brighton. So both making their last roll of the dice in the latter stages here to try and win this game, as Lumley goes long with his kick. Estepinian wins the first header, brought down by Mitoma. Breaks down the left hand side. He's got two in his wake and tries to play the ball across, but three in the middle there, but then they messed that one up, Southampton, as Estepinian nicks it back. Now Mitoma out to Estepinian on the left, who goes for the cross, and readying himself was Adingra, cleared away. Ayari brings it down though, and come crashing through to Harwood Bellis to clear it away. Only as far as Dunk though, as Brighton trying to spring back. Wiefer to Igor, down the left for Mitoma. Flicked on for the overlapping Estupinian, who crosses in again, but cleared away once again. Mitoma now. Flicked over the top by Dunk. Cleared away by Harwood Bellis. Wiefer gets it back to Dunk now. Igor. Out to Estupinian. Mitoma. Not eyeing up the cross that time, Mitoma. Igor. Back to Dunk. Now Van Hecke. Wiefer. Dunk. Igor. Last minute of the 90. Brighton pushing. Estupinian now. Goes for another cross. Away again by Harwood Bellis. Not won back though by Brighton this time as Dibbling tries to break away. Down the right hand flank. But can't get across the halfway line, and Brighton in the throw. And Dibbling and Estupiñán there getting it up in each other's business. The referee telling them to get a grip of themselves. Wiefer. Van Hecke. See how long will be added on at the end of the 90 here. See if there will be enough time for a winner. I'm sure there will be. Estupiñán. Our lovely ball through to Estupiñán, but just a bit too much on it from Igor. Good opportunity. And again, I said there should be enough time for a winner. Well, if there's not, there's something wrong. There's 10 added minutes at the end of the 90 here. We're going to 100 here this evening. 10 added minutes. Goodness me. So there's no shortage of added time anyway. A bit to go yet here in the South Coast. I think the officials are enjoying the game so much they don't want it to end. It's not been the most glamorous game, but certainly got an intriguing factor to it in these latter stages. As Wiefer gives away a free kick in his own in Southampton's half there. Southampton get a free kick. And Southampton are going to make another change here later on. Adam Armstrong's going to make way. And coming on for him is going to be Brighton Diaz. So, as the harshest of harsh disallowed goals, with Adam Armstrong deemed to have been impacting the play in the lead up to Cameron Archer's goal, and it was disallowed. Adam Armstrong will leave the field, and Brighton Diaz will be his replacement. And a bit of a haircut as Brighton Diaz. Here's Manning. Gives it straight back to Brighton. Nicely pressed by Wiefer. Into Mitoma. Mitoma clumps it forward. Adingra tries to cut it back. And the header straight at Lumley there. But a good opportunity for Brighton. Wasted, really. It's just been the story of the game for Brighton. I mean, they've had no shortage of chances. 19 shots, but just one shot on target. That's only their second shot on target of this half. They had 2 in the whole of the first half, and they've only had their second of the second half. Just in the last few seconds. Really lacking that clinical edge tonight of Brighton. And they said it at half-time. If they had any clinical edge in the first half, they really would have been out of sight with the chances they had. But couldn't get that second goal for love nor money. And ultimately, Southampton equalised and could have been ahead. Estupiñán lays it in behind. Ayari tried to make the run, goes down, but the referee does blow the whistle, but points in the opposite direction the Brighton fans were hoping for, and gives a free kick for Southampton. Estupiñán, yeah. I mean, Ayari's trying to buy a penalty there. I mean, if anybody's ever tried to buy a penalty, I've just seen it there. I mean, Ayari steps across Harwood Bellis, trips up Harwood Bellis, rather than the other way around. And I mean, that's a dive if I've ever seen it. Certainly not a penalty. And a free kick goes the opposite direction. VAR had a quick look, but, I mean, there's no really need for a quick look on that one. It's clear as day that was never a penalty. Lovely skill by Fraser. Goodness me. Up against Dunk. Leaving him for dead. Fraser with a cross, but into the hands of Verbruggen. Calm as you like, as Van Hecke rolled into space. Van Hecke, no real options under pressure. Muddles it all up, really, for Brighton. I mean, lack of intensity. Their lack of... what's the word? Yeah, intensity, really. Just over 6 minutes of the 10 added to go. Still Brighton 1, Southampton 1. Mitoma, who opened the scoring here tonight with a nice diving header from a Tariq Lamptey cross. Did Mitoma. Van Hecke trying to lift one into the box. Towards Mitoma. Bounces out to Estupiñán. Now Mitoma on the ball. Back to Estupiñán. Kaira Mitoma. Feeds it in behind, but Ayari might have got a touch to it and Adingra couldn't gather it. goes behind for a goal kick. Well, Brighton could be giving up the chance to go second tonight. They will still go up to third in the table with a draw. They will be level on points with City, with the exact same goals scored and goals conceded ratio. A +5 goal difference, 22 goals scored and 17 conceded. So as even as you can be with Manchester City. If they are to draw this game, of course, as I said, if they win, they will go above City, up to second. And themselves will be just 6 points behind league leaders Liverpool. Brighton, if they were to come away with 3 points tonight. Southampton would be bottom of the league no matter what result occurs tonight, because they are more than 3 points behind their next opponent, which is Crystal Palace in 19th. But a win would put them just a point behind Palace. A draw would put them 3 points behind Palace before Crystal Palace were to play this weekend. But a defeat would be ever so crushing for Southampton at this late stage, for how hard they've worked and how harsh maybe that decision to disallow that goal was earlier in the game. That conceding so late would be ever so devastating, but seem to be doing decently well to holding on here at the moment. Maybe pushing for a winner themselves, with Walker-Peters winning a free kick there. But I have to say, the difference between first and second half, very little between them. You know, very little in terms of difference. Brighton still doing all the same things, Southampton still doing all the same things. It's just Southampton were just better at converting, better at getting the ball up the field and finding the final third in much better moments, and Brighton lacking clinical edge, because I think if both teams were on their clinical best in the final third, we would have a good massive goal thriller, but Brighton would be winning the game. It's just both have lacked clinical edge in the final third at times, and to be fair, a draw is probably the fair result, to be honest, because Southampton have been better tonight. I think that Liverpool game on Sunday gave them a lot of confidence, although they lost, but leading against Liverpool, dominating the game for moments in that second half against Liverpool, gives them confidence as the cross by Brighton is straight into the hands of Lumley. But they've been better tonight, marginally better, but better. And Flynn Downs converting a scrappy goal, but a goal nonetheless, and then that goal disallowed. But as Dibbling wins another free kick, and another yellow card handed out here, this time to Mats Wiefer, who's committed a few fouls since entering the pitch around 15 minutes ago. He gets a yellow card for his troubles, the Dutchman, and his first of the season for Mats Wiefer. But Tyler Dibbling just seems to be that type of player to win those free kicks in those important moments, and I think we talk about it so often in game knowledge. That is the peak of game knowledge in a football match, just the free kick ticking quickly over the top. Cleared away by Brighton. Manning tries to keep it alive, but can only put it out of play for a Brighton throw. 2 minutes of the additional time to go. Still certainly time to win it. As Brighton on the ball again. Estupinian. Mitoma. Back to Igor. Now Dunk. Dunk trying to break forward. Trying to get his team to do the same. Van Hecke. Now Dunk. Out to a Dinger on the right hand side. Closed out. Back it comes to Van Hecke. Bit of urgency needed from Brighton if they're going to get the ball into the box here. Mitoma. 90 seconds to go. Across to Van Hecke, who will shoot from distance. For a moment there it was a bit deceiving. Looked like it was flying into the top corner, but just kind of lost the pace as it carried forward. And it was easily gathered in the end by Joe Lumley. Very deceiving cross, or shot that from Jean-Paul Van Hecke. Last minute of the 100 here at the Amex. Don't forget, as I said, Chelsea against Aston Villa is our game Sunday at 1:30. So here's Mitoma. Into the box it comes. Adingra! Just wide. Corner it will be though. Oh my goodness me. Is that the chance? Mitoma with a lovely touch pass. Kyle Walker-Peters squares it across the 6-yard box. Adingra stretching, takes a deflection, corner ticking quickly here. Here's Estupinian. Now or never really. Flicked on. Back post goes down. Flag was up. Questions asked by Brighton for a penalty. I think the flag was up. I think it was Yankuba Minta. The assistant on that side looks scared as anything about that decision. I think it was Yasin Ayari actually that went down. See it again. All over the top. Flicked on by Van Heck. He was offside anyway. Didn't matter. He was miles offside. Doesn't matter. And that might be that. Really. Probably a fair result really in the end. A draw would be. As Yasin Ayari kind of hobbles back to his feet. As Tyler Dibling's just been given player of the match tonight. I mean, I wouldn't disagree, to be fair. To be honest, he's done everything that's got Southampton something positive out of this game. And I have to say, I've waxed lyrical about him so far tonight. That's a pretty fair option. Tyler Dibling will get player of the match. Lumley goes long. We're into the 102nd minute here. Still going. Ayari skipping for a challenge. Beaten away by Ferguson. Here's Fernandez. And now here's a chance. Oh, just behind. Goodness me, just behind the Southampton attacker there. Still going though. As Brighton haven't given up yet. Here's Mitoma. Is there one last opportunity? Mitoma gets hacked down by Dibbling. Free kick for Brighton. A yellow card will come Tyler Dibbling's way, but one more set piece. One more opportunity surely at this late stage. In the 102nd minute. Surely now or never. And Tyler Dibbling gets his 5th yellow card of the season, which means he will also miss the game against Chelsea, which means Southampton will be without 3 players that started tonight due to suspensions for that game against Chelsea in midweek. Dibbling, Downs and Howard Bellis will all be unavailable to Russell Martin because of receiving yellow cards, an accumulation of yellow cards, and receiving 1-match suspensions. As the Brighton fans watch on, hoping, praying that their side can grasp something late. The Southampton fans can't watch. Nervous that they might just be witnessing something here. Or will their side hold on as they have done for the rest of this evening? Yankuba Minta to take the free kick. Whistle goes. Minta, left-footed delivery. Van Hecke with a header well wide. And that is the final whistle. Game done and dusted, and a point apiece. Who'd have thought? The result most expected between these two over the years in the Premier League is the result we see tonight. A draw for the 7th time in 13 fixtures against these two, and a 1-1 draw. Probably a fair result on the night. Russell Martin a bit frustrated maybe that his side should have probably won the game, with a second goal disallowed maybe unfairly. Brighton maybe rode their luck a bit this evening. Kara Mitoma with the opener. They struggled to find that second. Lack of clinical edge. Flynn Downs with his first Premier League goal levelled the game, and ultimately that is what gets Southampton their first point on the road in the Premier League this season, and their first point when conceding first in a game in the Premier League this season. They're building, they're on the up, they're starting to put points on the board, but they're a long way off being the perfect outfit here in the Premier League, are Southampton. But it is a point apiece, and probably a fair result. Fabian Hertzler and Russell Martin have to be separated here at the minute. Russell Martin is certainly incessant in trying to get towards Fabian Ursula there. I have no idea what's going on. It's gone crazy. Anyway, that is the final score. Brighton 1, Southampton 1. There we are. 1 game down, 9 to go in this Premier League weekend, which will culminate in a game between Liverpool and Man City on Sunday at 4 o'clock. Let's just quickly show you the table before we leave you tonight on this Friday night in the Premier League. Well, Brighton, I did say they would win. If they won, they would go second. I think they've just gone second in the league table. They have. It's strange that they have, because they've scored the exact same amount of goals as Man City, but they have beaten them. That's why they've gone ahead of them. They have beaten them this season, so they've gone ahead of City on head-to-head. As you can see there, they've scored the same amount of goals, conceded the same amount of goals, and they're on the same points and goal difference. But Brighton ends up into seconds, 23 points in their first 13 Premier League games, and they're just 8 points off league leaders Liverpool. Who'd have thought that before the start of the season? That is where Brighton sits. You have to go all the way down to the bottom of the table to find Southampton. There they are, rock bottom of the table. 5 points in total this season, but their first on the road points this season tonight. Certainly something to build upon. That's it from us tonight. We'll be back on Sunday for a double header between Chelsea and Villa, and then Liverpool, Manchester City. But for tonight, thanks very much for joining me, and we'll see you again on Sunday. Night night.